So in an effort to continue to have more channel presence, I have decided that for this entire week, at the end of all of my shifts, given how different this year stuff is, I'm going to talk about how my day went and let it serve like what this channel actually is about, which is my freaking journal. So today was interesting because I was scheduled to do a job I had never done before. Basically, help customers get their order reservations. I had deliberately stayed away from that the entire 8 years that I had worked. I understand that in my first year, they really don't want to put me there because I'm new. But for the second year, it was either the second or third year that I was there, I was asked if I wanted to work over there. And I said no. And genuinely, my biggest dread, my biggest concern was phone calls. There are some people who I just genuinely do not understand over the fucking phone. Let it be because of their accent, because of how they sound. Like sometimes over the phone, there's like this weird feedback or distortion of some sort. I just don't want to be constantly forwarding that call to someone else. Like, hey, I genuinely do not understand what they're asking. Can you help me? Can you help me? Like, if I'm not going to be useful, I would rather not be involved in something at all. And I have always had that problem. Then there's also the people who for some reason don't understand that talking to a phone that's on speaker doesn't mean that it's clear. Like some people may be standing really far away from it, or they're in a fucking echoey room. I just don't want to deal with that, especially when you try to tell them, I'm sorry, I cannot hear you, and then they don't do anything. Sometimes they do say, oh, I'm sorry, can you hear me now? And they get closer, or maybe they deactivate speakerphone and actually bring the phone to the ear. Like whatever it is that they do, I just don't want to go through that. And on top of that, these are holiday orders. I don't want to be responsible for someone telling me their order wrong, and then the day that they get here, they forget what they ordered. And then someone is going to try to go off on me like it's my fault that I took the order wrong when I know I have some good ass listening skills. So to avoid issues, I would rather just let someone else handle it. Because I know that me personally, as much as I'm calm and cool and I have like infinite patience for customers, since that's what I get paid for, that is just something that I don't want to deal with or live with. It's not an attitude that I'm proud of, but I just really don't feel like I'm equipped to deal with that properly. And until I get there, maybe I never will. I would rather just not deal with it. Given that I have a new manager, he decided to put me down for this thing. I guess he assumed that I had experience with it or that I liked this job. And I said, dude, what are you doing? I literally had told you about how my past managers had treated me, making career choices for me without consulting me, and then being shocked that I'm not cool with some things. And here you are doing the thing that I was hoping you would never do. So I looked at it as, well, maybe it's time that I took up the extra experience, the extra challenge, the extra responsibility. But seriously, I was not sold on this particular job. And if you're going to do something like that and you're new to this place, at least ask people, because some of us have legit reasons to not do this. And you guys want to know something else? I actually never got my proper training for this job. So today, fortunately, we had a call out in my department, and they had me go do what I'm supposed to do on a regular basis to cover for this person who had called out. And then one of my managers had to actually take my place. And I said, good, because I am still not qualified for this job. And I felt bad because this manager was actually the one who had sort of shown me for the second time a better version of the first orientation, which was informal, that I got. And when he explained it to me and showed me, it made sense. But the problem is that when it's the moment of truth, there are situations that come up that I haven't been shown. And if I don't understand my tool, my role, my job, my resources, then unexpected questions are questions I just won't be able to problem solve. So again, I didn't want this job because I'm going to be that person who needs help for everything. I am at zero when it comes to knowledge about this job. It frustrated me a little that maybe people thought that this was just simple and it just inherently would make sense to me. In order for me to grasp a concept, no matter how simple it is, you have to break it down and tell me from the very beginning. Like, explain to me how stuff is organized. Explain to me the side stuff that may happen. One of the things that I was in charge of this morning, like, I'm sitting there signing in for the first time to my account. I was asked to start calling the customers who did not pick up the reservations that they had made yesterday. And I'm like, okay, how do I pull that up? I guess I use the sort and filter button and go to yesterday's date. And if anything shows up, that's it. But of course, I wasn't finding anything. Nobody's name was coming up. Just nothing at all. I said, see, these little things are the things that annoy me and frustrate me and make me not want to do extra things, because I feel like when my moment to be trained comes, my training is never complete. I like to be trained like it's a classroom setting. You will show me everything, explain it to me situationally, and give me some hands-on experiential learning. Some of the things that I was learning, it was kind of on the fly. Like, some of it I was able to observe some other people who were scheduled for a couple of days before me. Like, just casually I would go up to them and be like, so what is this like? What do you do? What is the first thing you do? And it's just that there is so much little things that come together to make it the big thing. And I only had pieces. And it wasn't like I had gotten every single piece of the puzzle. Today, I was shown features and buttons that I would have had no idea how to go about. And it also doesn't help that because I don't have a computer, it's like me sitting at a computer is something that I gotta readjust to, because I'm operating on the software from 2 software versions ago. Okay, that's what it means for me to not have a computer. So some buttons are just not so obvious for me. But anyway, that's beside the point. Me personally, I love to learn, but it's not optimal for me to learn the moment that stuff is happening. But I must say this, and this is the most important thing. I'm actually not upset or angry or mad or annoyed at anybody, like any single person in particular, because everybody is trying their best. Everybody is working so hard. And even in the midst of everything that's happening, I'm grateful for the people that I have now, especially my management crew, my immediate managers. This is the best crew I have ever had, and everybody is new to the store. Not necessarily new to the company, but some folks have not even been with the company for more than a year. Everybody is doing so well, such a positive attitude, positive energy, doing their best to take care of the customer, which is what we ultimately do at customer service. And I love to see that, because for some time I felt like the very core of what we do at our jobs, like customer service, that was getting lost a little bit. And in spite of labor shortages and to a certain extent lack of training, everybody was doing so great with whatever it is that they had. And I also enjoyed seeing other people jumping in to help each other out. And me myself, like me given my vet status, like I could intervene for some things, or if we didn't have answers to something, it's like with your little bit of knowledge and my little bit of knowledge, we could come together and make something happen. That is my favorite aspect of the job. Every time I vent about something, I always like to make it abundantly clear that this is not an attack on anybody. This is not being mad at, say, my managers or anything. On the contrary, I am so grateful that I have them. There is no one else. There are no other people I would rather be going through this with than my current crew. So yeah, is this a vent? Is this me kind of like complaining a little bit? Yeah, a little bit, but at the same time, I understand that had the circumstances being a little different, I'm pretty sure that this would have been handled better, like especially my training and stuff. But I guess I just want to put this out there in case someone else is feeling the same. Please try to remember to be fair. Even though I have been asking since the moment I saw my schedule 3-4 weeks ago that I was going to do this, I was asking and asking and asking, hey, I've never done this. Show me the computer. Show me how this works. Show me how it's structured. Even teach me what are the words that I'm supposed to use to communicate certain things to the customer, to my colleagues who are going to put these orders together. All of that, I know nothing. Everybody tried. Sometimes they couldn't hang out with me for as long as I guess would have been ideal for me to learn things. But again, everybody tried. And even when I was lost and confused, someone was there to try to make it work and work with me. And no one made me feel any type of way about it. Like in the past, I've had that where I ask for help and I'm made to feel like I'm a burden. And I'm like, no, what you do is you invest in me so that I can be as good at this job as I am at my regular one. Was it daunting? Yeah, I feel like today's call out had to happen because it was getting pretty hairy out there. I was listening in to what was happening and I said, there is no way that I would have been performing as well as my manager who was holding it down, of course. And that one manager has only been with us for about 2 years with the company. But he's been through management for about a year now, so it's good. The most important thing I have learned from my current management is to remain calm, whereas my calmness can come from experience, but there were times in which, even though I'm experienced at what I do, my energy this year is different. And it is that, sure, I have my collection of techniques and abilities that I have polished over the years, but when it comes to attitude, crowds do not intimidate me. Noises do not intimidate me. Customers that seem to have a lot of stuff going on, like different kinds of items and stuff, that doesn't intimidate me anymore, because sometimes I would see them come up with a piece of paper and I'm like, okay, great, I can't wait to see how these codes are not gonna work or something. And now it's like, okay, with experience I can make decisions and make it work out. But yeah, today there was a lot to do, but I wasn't stressed, and this was exactly how I wanted to feel. I wanted to be confident at my job and not feel like, wow, this is physically draining and mentally draining. Because years prior, especially the years when I was new, I remember how those crowds and the noise and the environment was just so much overstimulation for me that it really felt like retail was a battlefield. But now it's like, okay, I can do this. I got this. So yeah, you guys, that's how my day went. I can't wait to I guess debrief tomorrow and give you a summary of how tomorrow compares to today, which will be tomorrow's yesterday. So I can't wait, but at the same time, I'm just ready for this stuff to be over. I'm always ready for the holidays to be over before they even start, because some people can be really extra about it, and some people also try to get emotions from me that I just don't have, and I think it's weird, but whatever. just remember that I don't exist to entertain you. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you soon.